Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Shugosha TV. This is Izeiya here with another part of Rain Marginal. Well, I may know Marginal, Rain Marginal. So, let's get started with Elevator. The next day, while rubbing my sleepy eyes, I headed to the office. Inside the train, there was just a fan that steered around the warm air. With every station, the sweat on my back would stick to my dress shirt. While holding on to a swaying handle, I reflexively loosened my necktie. Sun was burning hot today too. From the heat in the morning, it looked to be the most summery day of the year. All day today, I was supposed to be going around making sales. With another sigh, I headed to the office. No matter how depressing it was, there was no other alternative if it was work. The building's elevator lobby. I waited there for a while. It was around business opening time, so a fair number of people were around. Even if it meant missing one elevator, I wanted to get on one alone. Because at the start of the day, being trapped with a manager or coworker and forced to put on a polite smile was tiring. While thinking about that, I waited for the elevator.
なるほどね。
There was a young woman I didn't recognize. For some reason, she was peering intently at my face.
ま、悪くないか。優しいとこあるみたいだし。
While saying that to herself, she quickly went off someplace. Or maybe she had been talking to someone on a cell phone. Wasting time like this. I didn't want to meet any coworkers this early. In moments, the elevator arrived. I got on alone and looked at the panel of buttons. Of course, today I wasn't headed to the 7th floor. As if perfectly naturally, I reached for the 4th floor button. There, I noticed something strange. There was a button for a floor I had never seen before. This building only had 7 floors, so there shouldn't be a button for an 8th. I had written this number numerous times, so there was no mistake. Plus, I had gone to that highest 7th floor every morning. One day, sorry. So I knew that a higher floor didn't exist. That was also impossible. A thought flashed through my mind, but I quickly dismissed it. If anything, the inside of the elevator was very familiar. Since graduating and joining this company, I had used it for 3 years. There was no way I could be mistaken. And even if they were constructing an 8th floor, I had just been to the roof yesterday. They couldn't have done such a thing in just one day. Even while thinking that this was an odd tale, I slowly pressed the button for the 8th floor. As the elevator rose, I had a number of thoughts. I couldn't see the reasoning behind it, but if that were true, it was a pretty involved prank. But then, if that were true, somewhere in my heart, I felt anticipation for something. The first thing I could hear was the sound of rain. The first thing I could see was just whiteness. More importantly, just where was this? I thought for a moment that I was on the roof, but that was impossible. Just before, I'd been under a blazing summer sky. All I could see were white sky and flagstones, and thanks to the haze from the rain, I couldn't see very far. Even though I had just gotten on the elevator to my office. I realized there. I turned around. The elevator I just exited had disappeared. Reflexively, I looked around the area, but the same scene spread before me everywhere. Even when I strained my eyes, peering beyond the rain haze, all I could see was the bright horizon. I have no idea. Already this was beyond the realm of my comprehension. No, not just me personally. Anyone in this situation would be the same. I tried to think as calmly as I could, as realistically and objectively as possible. There were only 2 things I could think of. But it felt too real to be a dream. The scene in front of me, the feel of the rain on my skin. But even assuming this was the afterlife, I had absolutely no memory of when I died. That was just how it worked. I had certainly stepped into the elevator, so there was a chance I had an accident there. Maybe this was how it feels to die before you realized it? Even assuming this was the afterlife, that's how I felt. It wasn't as if I wanted to die, but living had also been painful. Deliver me from that place. Or if you couldn't, then kill me now. That was something I kept saying to myself every Monday. Looking up, I saw that pure white sky. It was unchanging, giving no indication that it would ever stop. It wasn't a downpour so much as a drizzle, but being in it constantly soaking. I still had no idea where this was, but there was no point staying still. Taking off my tightly tied necktie, I began to walk into the rainy haze. So for a while, exactly how long, I didn't know, I continued to walk around the area. However, the same scenery just continued on without any change. Everywhere I went, the old flagstones continued. I couldn't see anything that resembled a structure. And, of course, no signs of people. No, not just people. There weren't any signs of moving things at all. When I casually looked at my watch, for some reason, my watch had stopped. The hands continued to denote that it was still 6:40 a.m. That was the time I got onto that elevator. I checked when I first got on, so there was no mistaking it. While thinking that, I walked forward. It didn't seem like I would come up with an answer, and standing around wouldn't help. Even though I was getting soaked in the rain, it wasn't particularly cold, but to be constantly rained on was more of a psychological strain than I imagined. Eventually, after walking for a while, it was far, so I couldn't tell clearly, but I could see something through the rain haze. At least, from the time I started walking up to now, it was the first time I'd seen something that could be a structure. There might be some kind of a hint there, or there might even be someone else. Just as I was thinking that was the time.
こんにちは。
Being spoken to all of a sudden, I spun around to find an unfamiliar little girl. She was facing me, looking a little embarrassed.
私はリンって呼んでくださいね。
Cheerfully, Yin, or whatever, bowed her head. She seemed quite young, around elementary school age, perhaps. She didn't seem all that surprised at me. In fact, she seemed like a child, but she was somehow extremely calm. I felt like she was used to this mysterious place. But I couldn't help wondering why she was wearing just one shoe. Her other foot left there. Her appearance was just a disconnect from this place. Made things feel even more unsettling.
おそらくですけど、ここ来たばかりですよね。それを説明するのはちょっと長くなるかな。とりあえずは雨に濡れるからこっち来てください。
As if she didn't hear my voice, she ran off while making splashing sounds. I have no idea what she was. I stared at her back, wondering if I should be dealing with her, while at the same time,
ねえ、早く来ないと濡れちゃいますよ。
turning around, the girl, no, I believe she said Ren, energetically called to me. I didn't really feel any evil intent from her. It was a return of unanswered questions and doubts. Nothing could be done just standing here. Coming to that decision, I followed after her. I walked behind her until we arrived in the front of a large building. Apparently, I'd seen it from quite a distance. There were a number of stone columns. In the middle was a thing that looked like a bench. Despite there having been no man-made things, or anything other than the aged flagstones up until now, To see fragments of modern civilization in just this spot was also very odd.
冷たかった。
Brushing off the rain clinging to her, she stood next to the old bench and bus stop signs. Apparently, only this place had bits of civilization, and some saw traces of someone living there.
忘れてた。洗濯物を干しっぱなしだったんだ。
Saying that, she hurriedly went to grab the laundry-like clothing. There was a rope skillfully strung between the two bus stop signs. Apparently, she'd been drying clothes there.
昔からなんでこんな時に限って下着まで干してたの。
She blushed heavily at the uncharacteristically flashy underwear. And looking closer, there seemed to be things resembling books of manga beyond her. Why did this one spot have pieces of modern life? I couldn't even imagine the reason. However, there was something that held my attention even more. That there might be the chance of the people around. Most likely, it wasn't a lie, but the honest truth. I couldn't think of how lying to me would benefit her. And the girl in front of me didn't seem to be that kind of person. Plus, before coming here, I had walked around on my own and couldn't see anything resembling a building or traces of people. That meant that only ones here were the girl and myself. Just what was this place? I thought it was a dream at first, but decided against that. It all felt too real. A place I had never seen before. No familiar girl now appearing before me. It was too much to be a dream. That left just one answer. If this is where you go when you die, I have no memory whatsoever of dying. That might just be how that worked. I suppose from what was going on before I came here, I probably died in an elevator accident. Flattened from falling a long distance, or torn to pieces. As I dazedly pondered that, the girl slowly opened her mouth. 'Saying that, she pointed at my wristwatch. For some reason, it had been stopped all this time.
その腕時計止まったままですよね。つまりそ
I don't get it. More like, I understand what the words themselves mean, but not their content.
具体的に言うとですね、ここではお腹も減らないし、年を取ることもないんです。そうです。気持ちはわかりますけど、これが現実です。
Hearing that, I can't exactly just go, oh, okay. But at the same time, I couldn't deny everything. Even if I think it's all scientific. If nothing else, the scenes spread in front of me, surrounding how I came here, were all real. If I were to believe this girl word, so like in Dragon Ball, a separate dimension where one day became one year. Wait, I do that one million, so it's different, right? I had just arrived here before I knew it.
別に私、妖怪とかじゃないですよ。
I still didn't understand the conditions, or how I managed to come in. But essentially, this place seems to be another dimension, separate from the real world.
それに、元の世界に帰りたいならいつでも帰れますよ。
That was unexpected. I didn't think that's how stuff like this worked. Like, once you enter, you can never leave. Or at least it would be really difficult to. And yet, the girl before me was saying how easy it was to go back.
じゃあ、ちょっと行ってみますか？
Before I could speak, she quickly jumped outside. She'd been like that earlier, lively, you might say, or at least unable to sit still. Unchanging, the rain continued to fall. Falling from the white sky, it formed little drops and struck my body. Under that sky, I followed behind the girl. Splashing sounds of water rose up from the wet ground. It was like a drizzle, so you didn't get drenched, but you would get a bit wet. However, it wasn't cold or chilling. It was simply wet.
この辺だと思うんだけどな。はい、だいたいいつもこの辺りに現れるはずなんです。もちろん現実世界への出入り口ですよ。
Entryway. She never failed to say things that were incomprehensible. While thinking that and walking around a bit,
ほら、見えました。
at this distance, even I could see what she was talking about. Beyond the rainy mist, there was a small box-like structure. Though for some reason the exterior had become an aged stone structure. On closer examination, I saw marks of what appeared to be elevator parts in various places. You can almost believe that I had run suddenly out of a rooftop.
よくわかりませんけど、ここから入ってきたんですよね。では帰る時もここからだと思いますよ。
I see. That makes a certain kind of sense. It was certainly more natural than suddenly appearing out of empty space or disappearing like smoke.
でも最近はこういう出入り口になってるんですね。はい、今までは襖やドアが多かったかな。今回のは変わっててちょっと面白いかも。
Saying that, Rin smiled happily. Looking at her young features and that smile, I felt that she was an honest and good child. But from what she had said, there are a number of things that nagged at me. I probably was mistaken, but...
もう知ってますよ。上に行ったり下に行ったりする乗り物ですよね。
She stood up a bit straighter when she said this. Well, she described it a bit oddly, but she was correct.
それでどうされます？帰りますか？
I hesitated just a bit. It was true that I was dissatisfied with the real world. When I first came here, I thought I died. I figured there wasn't much I could do if I was dead. But if there was a choice, it was also odd to be asked if I wanted to reject that and stay here.
はいはい。いえ、それは無理みたいです。
Well, that was natural. If that were true, this place would probably be full of people.
確か3日間くらいは大丈夫だったと思いますよ。
3 days. Then there's no rush to go back? Staying here forever might turn out to be painful. Yet, compared to the real world, it wasn't necessarily worse either.
本当ですか？嬉しいな。
Aw.
ほら、ここってめったに人が来ないから一人で寂しかったんですよ。
Aw. She faced me cheerfully and said that, well, it's only natural to feel lonely when you're all alone in a place like this.
じゃあさっきの場所に戻りましょうか。 それにそろそろ日が暮れ始めますから急ぎましょう。
Yeah, sure.
よくわかりませんけど夜はあるんですよ。
With that, Rin started walking quickly. As I watched her, I recalled something that had been nagging at me before. From what she had explained, time was stopped in this place. You don't get old, or hungry, or die. Also, she said people rarely came here, and she felt lonely being here on her own. Then she... That flashed through my mind suddenly, but I quickly quashed it. At the least, she knew what an elevator was. Her clothing was a bit strange, but it was obviously modern. Oh well. There's still time. There were a bunch of days that were hazy, but they'd probably become clearer eventually. Time passed. We returned to the place from before. And I had asked her a number of questions, but
よくわからないですね。
or
まあ、多分そうなんだと思いますよ。
it was like that all the time. I didn't feel like I heard anything solid. How long had this place existed? For whom? For what purpose? To begin with, just what was this place? A bit more personally, why did I come here? I asked a mountain of these natural questions, but she herself didn't make any firm answers. At the same time, she didn't seem to be lying or hiding anything. Apparently, she herself didn't really understand. The sky above us remained pure white, still pouring down rain. You couldn't even tell whether it was morning or afternoon.
ですね。なぜかここは昼と夜しかないんです。ですから急に真っ暗になるから気をつけないと危ないんですよ。
Then she continued to explain. Around here, it seems there really is nothing. Obviously, there were no man-made lights, but you also can't see the stars or moon. So at night, it becomes pitch black. And if you go too far from this place, it's apparently dangerous.
そんなわけで夜が来る前に寝ちゃうのが一番。ってそうだ、寝る場所ここしかないんだった。
Saying that, she pointed at the bench we had been sitting on. Now that she mentioned it, there wasn't anything else usable in sight.
少し狭くて申し訳ないですけど。 私キューって体丸めてちっちゃくなって寝ますから、なんとか二人でも多分。
No way. No matter how you look at it, the bench is just for one person.
それに床は痛いし冷たいですよ。
Since she was here first, and I came later, looking at it that way, I could be called a freeloader. Moreover, from what I had heard earlier, you don't get hunger here, nor sick, and apparently don't die. So from that, I had a feeling it wasn't physically possible to be injured, or if you did get hurt, it would quickly heal. Then there's nothing to worry about sleeping on the floor. Wait, bench?
ですからここは時が止まっている場所ですし。
Exactly. Everything else was just aged stonework. They were too out of place.
それはですね、たまに私が。 夜が来ます。
With those words, in a flash, the sky turned dark. I had just been pure white was being painted black. It was like watching one of those time-lapse videos.
では続きはまた明日に。おやすみなさい。あ、それとベンチどうもすみません。
Saying just that, she lay down on the bench. And as I was about to say my next sentence, that's a bit quick, even for a person who sleeps easily. While thinking that, I lay down helplessly next to the bench. And while feeling the cold, hard stone on my back, I quietly closed my eyes. And that's the elevator episode. I have to say though, this is interesting so far, I like it. Anyways, thanks guys for watching, and please subscribe. We'll go over to the Rin episode I hear afterwards. Catch you guys later. See ya.